மறக்காம சர்ப்ரைஸ் பண்ணுங்க. Thank you.
Welcome to chapter 9 of the course, which is going to be all about underpromotions. And now underpromotion is a theme that is a fun one, but it's pretty rare in chess, though it does come up from time to time in endgames and endgame studies. And like with the previous topic, stalemate, I would say that the hardest part about underpromotion is just remembering that it exists and it is something that you have to watch out for when you're in a game and when you're calculating in an endgame. Now, underpromotions are also very closely related to this idea of stalemate because the main reason to even underpromote in the first place, one of the main reasons that you wouldn't just want a queen in most situations is because of the possibility of stalemate. Sometimes the queen just takes up too many squares and the opponent's king ends up stalemated, and we'd rather have a rook or a bishop in that case to win the endgame. This is a classic example of one of those such cases. This is the end of a study by Saavedra. And this is white to play and win. And already here, white could potentially make a new queen and seemingly have a winning endgame, but things are not so simple. And if you'd like to try to quickly figure out why c8 equals queen doesn't work, I would encourage you to do so. And yeah, this is a type of puzzle that could have been in the previous chapter, because if white does promote to the queen here, black has a really cute trick, rook c4 check. Forking white's king and queen, white is forced to take on c4, and black's king is now in stalemate. So this is the exact kind of situation where it seems like we promote to the queen and we win the game, but all of a sudden black has this trick and it's too late to win the game now for white. So what does white need to do here? Well, instead of promoting to the queen, a move like king to c3 wouldn't work because black has this move rook to d1, followed by rook to c1 check if white promotes in this position. So white would be forced to go back king to c2, and then black could repeat the position with rook to d4. So this one isn't working for white, but what white can do is actually just promote to a rook. Now this comes with the threat of rook a8 checkmate, and so black has to deal with this one. If black plays rook to a4 here, then white wins with a really nice switcheroo, king to b3. Moving the king over to this side, hitting the rook on a4, and introducing a new mate threat, switching the direction of the attack with rook c1 in the position. And here black is simply lost. The rook is under attack, mate is threatened, and there's no way to defend against both threats. White is winning. So a really, really cool end of a puzzle, and once again, the only way we would even consider the underpromotion in the first place is because we noticed that promoting to a queen isn't working. Black has this miracle defense with rook c4 check, and so we need to underpromote in order to avoid this defense. And this is the kind of thing that comes up a lot in endgame studies where you need to underpromote in order to avoid a possible stalemate trick from the opponent or just an immediate stalemate. And this is the kind of thing you're going to have to watch out for in this chapter, as this is pretty much the main reason why we want to underpromote either to a rook or a bishop, or in some cases even to a knight, is because we need to avoid stalemating the enemy king. Of course, very important to point out here that after c8 equals rook, black does not have this idea with rook to c4 check, because of course white takes this one and black's king still has the a2 square, so no stalemate and white is winning. This next example here shows the second most common reason why you would need an underpromotion, and that is to create a knight. A knight is the only piece that can do something that a queen cannot do. The queen is, of course, the combined power of a rook and a bishop, but sometimes you just need a knight in the position to deliver some kind of key knight check or knight fork. And this study, which I believe was composed by Lasker, is a really, really classic example of this. You might have seen this one in other tactics books or in online trainers, as it's a very, very famous problem. But I really want to share it here because it's such a classic form of the knight underpromotion, and it's really its strongest form. So it's white to play in this position, white to play and win, and it seems like black's king on b8 is really, really vulnerable, but white's king on h1 is also not looking that great. Black has threats of queen e1 check and queen e4 check, and if white doesn't create some immediate counterplay here, then black's counterplay is going to be pretty strong. So white wins with a very nice and elegant combination, starting with the move rook to c8 check. Here black is forced to play rook takes c8, and now comes, I would say, the first of two key moves in the combination. Feel free to pause the video and try to solve it on your own if you'd like. It's a very, very pretty puzzle. Well, here white can't really just take on c8 and promote, let's say b takes c8 equals queen. Whatever piece white makes here, black can play king takes c8, and white isn't winning this queen and pawn endgame. Black is totally fine. Instead, white wins with a really, really shocking move, queen a7 check. And if you've never seen this puzzle, I'll just leave the position on the board here for a second, as this is such a beautiful idea. And the point is to lure the king to a7. At its heart, this is an attraction theme. And after king takes a7, white takes the rook and promotes to a knight, forking the king and the queen on e7. Note that if white had promoted to a queen here, then black would be able to deliver mate with queen e1, right? So it's very important that white delivered a promotion with a check and is able to win this queen. And of course, after king moves, knight takes e7, white has a completely winning endgame here. So very, very incredible resource where we lure the king. First, we lure the rook to c8, then we lure the king to a7, and then we take the rook and underpromote to the knight to win the game. Really, really just a beautiful combination. Just to finish things off, if black did not take the queen here and played a move like king to c7, then white can promote, and with a double check, white will have two queens and a completely winning position, or white can just take the rook, promoting to a queen with check, king takes c8 is forced, and then white will win the queen on e7, also totally good enough. So really, really lovely combination and showing the power of the possibilities of underpromoting to a knight. Sometimes it just so happens that you get an opportunity to promote to a knight and you happen to deliver a really crucial knight check that either leads to mate or ends up winning a bunch of material like it does here. Our next example here shows you the types of problems that you'll see in this chapter. This is number 1 in the set of exercises, and this is white to play and win. So if you like, I'd encourage you to pause the video and try to solve it on your own before reviewing the solution together. So there's a lot going on in this position. White just has the one pawn left. Black's bishop on g8 is under attack. White also has the opportunity to simply promote pawn on the f8 square. And it's not clear at first how white wins this game, but there are a couple of ways not to win. If we take the bishop, then of course black can just recapture, and with just a king and a knight, we're not winning this one. And of course, if white promotes to the queen here, then that is going to be an immediate stalemate, as black has no moves. And same thing with promoting to a rook. Black is also left with stalemate. So what to do? That leaves us with either promoting to a knight or a bishop. And in this case, promoting to a bishop is quite good here, as white is going to be able to set up a deadly mating net next move. So white is immediately threatening bishop to g7 here. Black has to do something to get the bishop out of the way, like bishop to c4. And now after the key move, knight to f6, black's king is simply caught in a mating net. Very good mating net to know, where white's king, bishop, and knight all trap the king and are ready to deliver bishop g7 mate next. Black can make any move, and bishop g7 is the end of the game. Important to note here that if white had started with bishop to g7 check, this would not be good, as after king to g8, black can escape. Knight f6 is met with king to f7, and if we try to trap the king with something like king to g6, then black can just throw in a check with bishop to d3, and white won't be able to set up a mate in the near future. So very cool solution with promoting to a bishop. Promoting to a knight would not work, as black would just get the bishop out of the way and the knights wouldn't be able to set up a checkmate. The bishop can defend there. So white only wins here with the under promotion of a bishop and then setting up this mating net with knight f6 followed by bishop to g7. So the next problems in this chapter are not going to be too tricky, since you already know the theme is under promotion and you are going to be looking for a lot of under promotions in the following puzzles. But even so, I think it's really important, even though you have this hint, that you do solve these puzzles and you do notice some of these situations where under promotion is really necessary. I think first you have to solve a bunch of exercises even when you know the theme is coming. And once you solve a bunch of these puzzles and you see how all these situations play out, I think your brain will learn to adapt and you'll start to look for these opportunities to under promote even when you don't have that hint for you. So first we got to do some puzzles with some training wheels. You know there's going to be an under promotion, but then when you get to the rest of the studies in the rest of the course, of course you won't know when you're going to have to look for an under promotion, but use this as your fair warning. There are going to be puzzles out there where under promotion is key, and it's going to be up to you to make sure you're avoiding the stalemate of your opponent. As a word of advice, if you ever get a position like this where it looks like you can just promote and win the game, make sure you're watching out for stalemate. There are not going to be any easy puzzles from here on out. So if something looks a little bit too easy, like you can just promote and win the game, then chances are you might be missing something, and it's important to take a second look. All right, with that, guys, I'm going to wish you the best of luck in solving the rest of the puzzles from here. Make sure to take your time and to always review the solution when you miss a puzzle. And hopefully I'll see you in the next chapter. Take care.
மறக்காம சர்ப்ரைஸ் பண்ணுங்க. Thank you.